You're facing a circumstance where there are both good and negative news. The positive, it's a McLaren Saber, which is essentially how McLaren appears when being properly released from its tether. A negative, you won't just be unable to afford one, but also probably never even see one in person. Being somewhat cynical about the circumstance at this stage and acknowledging that not everyone will be able to obtain some items is perhaps worthwhile. The Saber is distinct from other McLaren models. It was guaranteed by McLaren Special Operations, or MSO. The automobile is one of the division's bespoke projects, which means it was made to very specific specifications from some of McLaren's most valuable clients. The end product is a divisive, wild car that was only sold to 15 people in the US. According to Neil Underwood, global sales manager for MSO, Saber was designed with a belief to be a show car for the road. Customers wanted the car to appear as though it was just landed from space. I believe we succeeded. What Underwood says about McLaren? The center spine and vertical rear lights are reminiscent of an LMP vehicle, while the bulging fender seems to be preventing the car from its fleeing. The side mirrors are manually adjusted and are smaller than what international markets would tolerate. The erratic top-mounted wing and honeycomb engine cover work along with those mirrors to drastically reduce rear view, adding excitement to every lane change. Due to the Saber's focus on the road, MSO chose a more supple suspension than in other McLaren Ultimate Series vehicles. New cylinder heads and updated mapping are two ways the twin-turbo 4.0-liter V8 is still developing. When traveling to Pebble Beach or for rallies, clients want to be able to make a 2 to 3 hour drive, according to Underwood. They can participate in the event and then drive themselves back home afterwards. Why is the McLaren Saber such a powerful vehicle? The McLaren Saber is a base supercar produced by British automaker McLaren Automotive. This car model, which originally took a lot of cues from a Formula One car, is a favorite with luxury car manufacturers and individual owners all over the world. Technically, the twin-turbo 4.0-liter V8 engine can produce up to 824 horsepower. A 7-speed transmission built inside the engine aids in distributing power to all four vehicles. This vehicle has a 0 to 60 mph acceleration time in just 4.3 seconds and a top speed of 351 miles per hour. One of the numerous characteristics that contribute to this car's popularity and desirability is its agility. A McLaren represents more than 50 years of racing heritage and expertise. The car is among the greatest in the world because of its design. You have to pay roughly $3.5 million for the Saber, but it's worth it. It's a premium car that can handle any road or weather condition while still providing a comfortable ride. The car's body is constructed by McLaren using carbon fiber. The style of the car gives the impression that it is constructed of marble, but it is incredibly sturdy. Its long, slender profile and minimal aerodynamic drag make it the ideal vehicle for navigating traffic. Since the carbon fiber body panels are transparent, you can look outside while enjoying a stunning drive or relaxing in the opulent cabin. The Saber's design resembles something from the future. The absence of doors makes the car's front feel more like a racing car, or as refreshed as you can be after operating an 824 horsepower supercar with a heritage in McLaren's most track-focused design. Due to aerodynamic modifications, the Saber has around one-third the downforce of the Senna. Its top speed of 218 miles per hour makes it the fastest two-seat McLaren road car ever made, according to MSO, and it has 35 more horsepower as a result. When it's released onto a track, that becomes rather evident. Although Lime Rock Park is only 1.5 miles long, it is undoubtedly one of the nation's most difficult courses because of its intricate layout and tight turns. The short straight at Lime Rock has never passed so rapidly from the Saber's perspective, with the McLaren approaching 155 miles per hour at the braking zone. Because there is less downforce, it becomes unpleasant while braking hard. It's a car you have to drive into a corner, so it's more retro than scary. This is due to the fixed rear wing, which prevents it from acting as an air brake like on other McLarens. However, the diffuser is active, the first of its kind for McLaren, and reduces drag on the straights while converting to a downforce mode while braking. This McLaren V8's response is mind-altering. The moment it reaches full power, the environment is changed faster than the brain can comprehend. The Saber is so quick and visceral that your right foot will occasionally wonder if going full speed is actually what your brain desires. They were only made for a small number of people. Just 15 Sabres were produced by McLaren Special Operations, all of which were purchased by Americans and featured a 4.0-liter twin-turbo V8 that produced 824 horsepower. Therefore, it should be adequate to maintain pace up a steep incline without having a downshift. If you're wondering what the Saber is and why it's not on your mental list of hypercars, it may be because it's a limited run. US only special, and because MSO makes most of its money by doing specials like this for very wealthy customers, most of whom want to keep their light hidden. Therefore, a significant PR tour was never going to happen. It's time for a little review then. The Saber is based on the insane McLaren Senna, but it's not just a simple case of trimming, tucking, and adding glitz. The fundamental platform, drivetrain, and glasshouse are still present on the Saber, even though more than 70% of its parts are unique. This is likely because the base vehicle is already a track-ready monster rather than for any other reason. As one might anticipate, the Senna's downforce is significantly reduced by its more fluid design, which provides only a third as much. Additionally, 35 horsepower. The Saber is the fastest two-seat McLaren ever, reaching a top speed of 218 miles per hour as a combination of less aerodynamics and greater horsepower. And one that was essentially a custom design, made from the ground up to satisfy the whims and desires of its owner. And credit where credit is due, the Saber is about as subtle as a sucker blow. But the customization is fairly calibrated, enhancing the car's pure craziness rather than taking away from the McLaren Senna fastened inside a Hot Wheels car image that is craziness. Tuners, take notes. You're undoubtedly curious about the cost by now. Think about it for a moment as a custom hand-built limited-run McLaren that is loosely based on a sold-out 750,000-pound track-ready hypercar, but with 70% new hand-selected parts. This may help to explain why Mecum believes it might bring in up to $5 million US, that's about 4.1 million pounds, at its Monterey auction in 2 weeks. For those of our American friends, that is 2 weeks. Although the McLaren Saber has few built-in standard capabilities, it does have a few extra functions. Those can be added later on if needed. One of these is a mobile phone holder, which enables you to make or receive calls via Bluetooth, or a smartphone switch the radio station once it's linked. Or you can put music on pause. In order to get the most out of your windshield wipers in any condition, it also has a rain sensor that monitors the weather and windshield wipers. Additionally, there is a tire pressure monitor that alerts you when the tire needs to be reinflated before the pressure drops too low. Additionally, it offers a navigation system with European influences that might make your journey more productive.